This is going to be a quick putting tip video and about how to read the greens and how you can hole more putts. Everybody knows that drive for show, putt for dough, so here you go, and let's make some money. If you guys have not seen my calibration video, there was a small putting tip at the end of the video. You can go check it out there. I'm also going to cover it really quickly here just in case anybody hasn't seen that. It was mainly about the speed of how fast you take back your putter. You are not penalized in putting like you are with your driver swing or your iron swing about how quickly you transition the club from backswing to downswing. So all it's about is about hitting accurate shots and making sure that you hit the white meter as much as possible. So in this situation, we want to take the putter back as slow as you possibly can to make sure that we're getting it perfectly in that white zone. We also want to aim towards the front of that white bar, so that way your mind has that extra second that it can release the club and really start the putt moving in the correct direction. So if I use a quick example here, this putt is pretty straight. We're going to go back slow and accelerate through. And we're going to go, and it's going to go, and it's going to go. Ooh, almost started off the day with a big one. So that's pretty much going to be anything about the speed. It's not a very complicated tip, but it is going to be super useful. If you go too fast in the backswing, it's going to be a little bit uncontrollable, and you're not going to be able to time it as easy. Don't penalize yourself with speed when it comes to putting, because putting is where you're going to make those birdies and save those pars, and that's how you're going to first initially start off, by shooting lower scores. So right now on this screen, let's talk about the second thing, which is the green grid. The green grid, if you see on the right side of the screen right now, is mostly green, and that means those are going to be pretty mostly flat putts. If you look on the left side of the screen, you're going to see those little beads moving pretty quickly, and you're going to see that dark green turn to a shade of yellow, and at the top you see it turn to red. The more contrast of the color turning to that red hue means the more aggressive that slope is going to be. With the more aggressive slope, the more break you're going to have to play, and it's always better to play more break than it is to play not enough break. So if we go into this putt, and now putting is not an exact science. It's all going to be a lot about feel on how hard you hit your putts and how much you kind of tailor your game to your putting skill. But so for this putt here, we definitely want to get it to the peak of the hill as much as possible and let it work its way back down. Just like in real life, all we're trying to do with these long putts, so this is a 57-foot putt, we're just trying to eliminate that 3-putt. 3 putts add up in the end, and those are putts that really are going to cost you later on with your total score. So here we want to just try to get it as close as possible, and that's all we're trying to do here. So we just try to get it up high. Ooh, we're tracking nicely. Cut it across the face. I'll take that 2-putt all day long. So the best and the easiest thing that I think putting has for you compared to previous games is the speed of the putt and how far you have to hit it. You don't have to play with your distance meter. So right now my distance meter says 41 feet. That's a preset distance that if you hit this putt on the correct line, your putt will go in. And if you miss it, it should be somewhere in a very 2-puttable range. So don't go playing around too much with moving your arrow shorter or moving your arrow longer, because that's really going to mess around with your second putt, and you don't really want that. We want to nestle the ball up really closely if it doesn't go in. So let's talk about the most important thing, and that's learning how to read these greens. A lot of people start by reading these greens all the way from the hole and working their eyes back towards the putter. But in all reality, you should start from where the ball is going to start and work it forward. And I like to break everything down by the squares that they're in. So if I start all the way in the beginning here, I'll see that this first bead right now is moving a little to the right, so it is going to go slightly to the right, but it is moving at such a slow pace that it's really not going to do much. If we go up to this next one, which is square 2, you can see this bead is moving a little bit faster, so this putt is definitely going to break a little bit, and then it's going to continue to break a little bit but slow down, and then you can see here that all of these beads are in a row moving at the same pace, so it's going to straighten out at that point. So all we have to really do in this situation is account for this first initial break in square 2 and 3. Once we get through that grid, it'll be perfectly fine and should be able to straighten out. Oh, I hit that a little hard. Hit that a little hard, and that's why it went off to the left. So 115 feet, you can see all the beads are pretty straight. All we're trying to do, even on the longer putts, I'm still taking my meter back slow. Just because it's longer, you may feel like, wow, it's really got to get there. But it really doesn't matter for the longer putts either. That meter is preset for you. So still take it back slow and accelerate through. And the ball will go on its own. We'll get it nestled up right there. Almost dropped it in from 115 feet. I'll take that 2-putt any day of the week. We're avoiding 3 putts there. I did not touch the distance meter whatsoever. So let's break this down by our squares again. So if we start in the beginning, we can see it's moving pretty aggressively for this first beginning part. Pretty consistent though, the beads are moving simultaneously, so it's going to consistently move to the right. We go up to the next one, it's still moving at that same speed, and then it slows down here. So knowing that, it's going to start out to the left, working its way down to the right, and then it's going to straighten out towards the end. So let's try to just find where that top of that peak is, which I like to consider it by verticals. A moderate pace to the right would be like one of these vertical bars right here. An extensive one would probably be 1.5 to 2 bars. I think this is a pretty moderate one. So I'm going to start it out just outside the first one, and hopefully it'll work its way back out, and at the end it will straighten itself out. Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Ooh, just missed it. Burnt edge. But, so just know, putting is not an exact science. It is definitely a feel thing, and all you can do is try to give yourself an opportunity. It's just... 57-footer. So let's do another one here. We can see in grid 1, square 1 of the grid, we are moving at a decently steady pace, and if we look at the beads going with it, they're all pretty much moving simultaneously. So that means we have a consistent break to the left, and then we go up to the next grid here, and we see a barely any movement, very slow, and then the next one's pretty much nothing. So this thing's going to start out moving to the left, and then it's really going to square up. And you have to think this and build it up one square by one square. Don't just try to just guess or just think of everything as a whole. Break it down into little parts, and it will help you figure out whether this is going to be an S turn where it's going to go right to left, or whether it's all just going to go one fluid way. So I like to think of everything as in like cups. So I got one cup here, a second cup here, a third cup here, a 4 cup here. So I think this beginning part is kind of moderate, and then it's going to straighten out. So I want to get it about 2 cups over and then let it straighten it back in. And like I always say, it's better to play for more break and miss it high than it is to play for not enough break and let it cross the face. A high putt will at least have some chance. One that crosses the face will never have a chance to go in. Come on, break in. I'll take that all day. Thanks so much for tuning into this video. As always, hit that subscribe button below so we can build this channel as big as possible. Fill up that comment section with any other types of videos that you guys want me to bring to you. Also, stay tuned. Every Monday, I'm going to be releasing a video for Multiplayer Mondays where I challenge people online and see how high I can get up in the ranking boards. All right, we'll check you guys out later. Have a good one.